This is Mrs. Murphy, and today I'm going to show you how to get your first Java project going. First of all, what you'll want to do is you'll want to download the JDK, and I've provided the link for you in Canvas. Before you can download it, you'll have to accept the agreement and then select the one that's correct for your operating system. Now I've already done this, so I'm not going to do this again, but I'm going to show you the next one. Now the link I gave you was to download Eclipse. And when you download Eclipse, it actually downloads as a zipped file. So I just clicked on it in my downloads, but instead of trying to open it up, you do need to extract the files. And you'll want to extract them to wherever location you want them saved. So probably my downloads folder is not the best location to put that in. I'm just going to browse to the C drive and put it in my users directory. Okay, I've just extracted the file into my user directory, and now I'm just going to open the program by double clicking on Eclipse in the directory. So here's my default workspace. If you want to change that someplace else, you're welcome to. Otherwise, you can just leave the default. And then the project will load in just a minute. We need some elevator music here now, don't we? Okay, so now I have Eclipse open and ready to go. So I'm going to start my first project. So I'm going to say File, and then I'm going to say New. We're doing a Java project. A couple things you want to change here. We're going to put a project name in camel case, starting with an uppercase letter. So I'm going to say My First Project. Take note of where it is saving. And then I'm going to use the default JRE, just so it can kind of find it on its own. And then I'm going to say Finish. Now it looks as though nothing happened, but what it did was it created a project, but there's no text files for us to write anything in. So no code files, basically. So I'm going to go File, New, and this time I'm going to do a class. A class is just a code file where you can write your code. Okay, so it should already have your source folder. If it doesn't, go ahead and browse to your source folder. Mine already did, but if it doesn't, you can just browse to your first project, SRC. The package, I'm not going to get into that too much in this class. There's lots of naming conventions for it. It basically says what folder your code is going to be in. For now, just put your initials all in lowercase, and we'll worry about naming conventions and folder structures in the next class. You're going to want to name your class something descriptive, once again in camel case, starting with an uppercase letter. So I'm going to do main because this is my main project. Okay, then you do want to say public static void main. We want to put a main file in there because this is the main file that's going to run. We want some place for our code to start. And then say Finish. Now that's going to bring up our code window, hopefully. Now, sometimes you're not going to see your code right away. This welcome message is kind of hiding it. So I'm just going to exit out of that little welcome message. And now I'm going to see my code. And over here on this side is kind of my Explorer. It's going to show all my projects listed here, even though I only have one project right now. But there's my initials. That's my folder that it's in. Okay, so here is our Java code that gets created. Once again, there's the package that specifies the folder it's in. Your class, that's just the name of the file. This is the main one that our program's going to be running. And this public static void main, this is just the entry point where it's going to start running our code. This right here is a comment. If you want, you can get rid of it, or in our case, we're just going to change it to describe what this is going to do. We're going to print out hello world to the screen. So I'm going to specify in this comment, printing, if I could spell, hello world to this user. Now here's our first command that we're going to enter in. We're printing out to the system, so we're going to type the word system, and we're doing output, not input. So I'm going to say out. It's kind of nice. It has this IntelliSense that gives us hints on what to type. And then I'm going to do a print line statement. And in there, I'm going to say hello world. Make sure you end with a closing quote and a closing parenthesis. And then to finish off every command in this language, we're going to use a semicolon. Semicolon is kind of like the period at the end of a statement. It's saying this is where the command ends. So all this does is prints hello world to the user. Now I can run this project and see that it works, and it's going to come up with this save and launch. Just select your main file and then it will run, and here is my output down here. It's printing hello world to the user. So now I can change this a little bit. I want to do a little math problem. I'm going to say 3 plus 6. 3 plus 6 is 9, but if we just run it, and since it's in quotes, it's actually just going to print out 3 plus 6. Now I can try and make it do some more. I can say 3 plus 6, and I'm going to take these quotes out just so you could see what it does without the quotes. And I'm going to hit run one more time. There's my main. And it's just going to print out the result this time. So in quotes prints out exactly what you want it to say. Out of quotes actually prints out the result of a math problem. If you did text not in quotes, that would give an error. Let's show you an error. So here I'm going to print out hello world, but this time I don't have it in quotes. So I'm going to run this, and it's going to say, ooh, errors exist. Anytime you get errors, say cancel. And it will tell you, oh, look, it doesn't know what the word hello world is. Okay, now let's print a math problem with the question and the answer. So I'm going to do 4 plus 2. Now I'm going to concatenate this on, meaning I'm going to add, out of my quotes, I'm going to have it add 4 plus 2. So now I've got 4 plus 2, which is going to, I'll put a little equal sign in there so we can have the equal sign display in our result. Okay, so if I run this, it's going to print out my entire math problem, but it's going to calculate the result. So it says 4 plus 2 equals, that's just printing that out exactly. And then 4 plus 2, the result of that is 6. Now I have to have these parentheses in here. The reason why is because if I print out 4 plus 2 equals 4 plus 2, it concatenates this, meaning 4 plus 2 plus 4 is 4 plus 2. This is not making sense. Let me just show you. So 4 plus 2 is 42. That means concatenate just puts it right next to it. The reason why is because we're adding a string plus a number. A string plus a number just can't do it, so it just adds the number in there. So you want to make sure you do the same order of operations as you do in math. 4 plus 2, we want it to do those parentheses before adding it onto the text. Well, this is pretty much all you're doing for your first assignment. We're keeping it easy. So good luck with the first homework assignment with the program, first Java program, I should say, and let me know if you have any issues.